It started as a joke on a late-night comedy show, A Staircase to the Moon, the host said, raising an eyebrow so we can finally skip the rockets and just take the stairs. Great for cardio. The audience laughed. But the internet didn't. Within hours, architects, engineers, and a few eccentric billionaires latched onto the idea. Forums filled with theoretical blueprints, ridiculous sketches, and surprisingly well-thought-out physics. One post titled Steps to the Stars, a feasibility study, went viral. The author was a reclusive orbital engineer named Lina Zhang who, to everyone's surprise, had spent the last 7 years quietly calculating how a literal staircase could be built between Earth and the Moon. The project gained momentum fast. Lina was flown to Geneva, then to Washington, then to a private island that wasn't on any map. She explained her vision calmly, an ultralight, carbon fiber reinforced staircase supported by a web of magnetic tethers and stabilized using a geosynchronous anchor platform. It's not about strength, she said, it's about balance. The media called it the climb. Some laughed. Others warned it would bankrupt nations. But for the first time in decades, the entire planet agreed on something truly absurd and beautiful. Construction began just outside Quito, Ecuador, as it was nearly on the equator and ideal for orbital alignment. From the ground, the first few segments looked like an unfinished office building, but within months, the staircase extended into the clouds. Platforms were built every 1,000 steps for resting, refueling, and observation. Artists painted murals along the walls. Tourists visited the early sections, climbing a few dozen steps and snapping selfies with hashtags like #moonsteps and #onesmallclimb. After 5 years, the staircase was visible from space. After 10, it reached high enough that the curvature of the Earth became visible from the top platforms. People began taking pilgrimages, not just scientists, but poets, monks, and musicians climbing for days or weeks, treating the ascent as a spiritual journey. Of course, it wasn't easy. The physical climb was brutal. You needed oxygen, pressure suits, and permission. Most people didn't go past the stratosphere. But those who did spoke of incredible silence, the colors of the Earth shifting from blue to black, and the moon growing in the sky until it filled their vision. 30 years in, the final segment, the lunar arch, was laid by Lina Zhang herself. Now gray-haired and smiling, her hands trembling as she fastened the last bolt. She gave no speech. Just looked down at Earth, then up at the waiting moon, and quietly began to climb the last steps. The moon was different when reached by stairs. No roar of rockets. No burst of fire. Just a quiet arrival, dusty boots, and long shadows. The first climbers sat on the edge, legs dangling over space, watching Earth spin below like a marble on a string. They wrote poems, played songs, left messages carved into the silver dust. The staircase changed everything. Not just space travel, though lunar tourism exploded and Mars colonization gained new urgency, but Earth itself. Nations began working together. The money spent on war shifted toward infrastructure. People argued less and dreamed more, but the staircase also became symbolic. Protesters climbed it carrying signs, calling for justice. Couples proposed at step 1 million. Children were told bedtime stories about stair dragons and moon castles. Films were shot entirely on the way up. One even won an Oscar. Then came the day the staircase cast a shadow on the moon. It was unintentional, of course. But during a lunar eclipse, for just a few seconds, the thin ribbon of the staircase projected a sliver of shadow across the gray surface. Millions watched it happen live. The moon, untouched for billions of years, now marked by the hand of humanity, not with weapons, not with conquest, but with stairs. Lina died peacefully 2 years later. Her ashes were scattered from step 999,999, the place she called the breath between worlds. A small plaque was installed there for those who choose to rise slowly. And so the staircase remained not just as a structure, but as an idea. A patient, impossible, absurd idea that somehow worked. That somehow united us. A reminder that even the most ridiculous questions might hold the power to change the world. Or at least bring us a little closer to the moon.